Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to come back with your tea so that we can have a working tea. Time is not in our favor. We should be out of here as soon as possible. So those who are having tea in the corridor, we beseech you that you please carry your cup of tea and your bites inside so we can continue. Because you know that our audience online may not wait for us so long.
Dear participants, can I now invite you to the next session of Q&A, and I would like to delegate the CEO of ERA to chair that next session as we take our breakfast.
Thank you, Chairperson. Colleagues, I welcome you once again to this session of question and answers. And I recall the presiding officer requested you to be noting down your questions, answers, questions, requests for clarifications, so that we handle it during this period. So the team in charge of ICT ensure that our online following are able to resume equally. I will start with the online questions that I have received so far from the chat room. The first question is the ECL, and they also indicate that ERA can also respond. would like to report that Electromax is always out of fuel and therefore is not helping improve our supply and the like. So here in fact that we are going to assign for now. The other one, which is I think let's try to explain, they were asking if the current BST, according to UETCL's presentation, if the current BST is 288.8 shillings per kilowatt hour, how come the end user tariff is 250% more? And is asking that this arithmetic is the biggest cost driver in the end user tariff. And this one was by, let me get the name very clear, by Patrick Kateihaho. Patrick Kateihaho. He also asks another one. There seems to be a discrepancy between the weighted average distribution tariff by ERA of 504 per kilowatt hour and the one presented by Umeme today of 170 shillings per kilowatt hour. And again, we will respond. We'll respond to that. So those are the questions so far that I've managed to get from the online following. Another one, the cost of distribution has remained high due to poor organizational setup. Can the regulator mandate the distributors to evolve further the operational centers to be near to the people? For example, why would a technician drive from Tororo to attend a fault in Majanj? I think, colleagues, at the beginning of the hearing, we clarified in the rules of procedure that we focus on our opportunity to make input to the tariff determination process, and therefore questions that are not centered to the presentations of today, we will pack them and respond to them at another opportunity. Therefore, I hope that the Secretariat is noting these questions. Can we now have the first 5 questions within the room? I note that the majority of the participants in the room are from the ESI, but we also have the third estate, and we have the tribunal, we have the private sector foundation, among other participants. So if you could move around with the mic by show of hand. Yes, we have. You will introduce yourself again so that they capture the person who is asking the question. You have a maximum of 2 questions to ask. They should be precise, and you have 1 minute to ask your questions. Please proceed. Please reintroduce yourself so that you remind the audience.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'm Dr. Julius Biaruhanga from the Private Sector Foundation, Uganda. Mine, actually, I wouldn't say it's a question, but it's a comment relating to what my brother from Umeme talked about. As PSFE, of course, we engage with all stakeholders, both private and government, on matters of policy, and it's for public good, mostly to develop our private sector in Uganda. So when we go to Umeme, we've also gone to the Ministry of Energy, we've also gone to ERA and other. Then the other comment I want to make is about one of the outstanding things in my observation that has come out of this conversation, which relates to vandalism. And I think it brings down the cost even to the final consumer. And the proposition I would want to make is that I think both the private sector agencies within the power distribution chain and the public sector agencies need not to work in silos to deal with this issue. And I would think to deal with the issue of vandalism, it should take a bottom-up approach. Umeme in your ivory tower and air-conditioned rooms, you will not manage this unless you involve communities directly because it affects them. So there has to be a rapport between both agencies and the communities, but also engage with the security